Welcome to another tutorial in camera and lens repair, and this time will actually not be about a lens or either a camera, but more an adapter, especially the Nikon FTZ adapter, which is you can connect Nikon F mount lenses, old, new, autofocus, non-autofocus, or whatever. But it has a problem. Because if you connect it to let's say a Nikon Z6 in this example, it could be whatever, Z cameras, and connect it. And then put let's say AF-s Nikkor 70 to 200 millimeter, and put it on here, and everything looks fine and all that stuff. Well, sometimes it has problem with focusing, no matter what distance I look at, and sometimes I have to move the focusing back and forth and try to move it and give it some movement, and then it could sometimes focus on something, but other times it wouldn't at all focus, no matter how I set the camera or the lens, all the settings here. It was not 100% sure, sometimes only 50 or not at all. So I think the problem would be in the adapter, not the camera, not the lens. The lens works actually pretty good on my Nikon D4, but it lacks actually on the Z6 in this case. So I think, okay, what could be the problem? So I took a look inside the adapter, and I also check all the connectors here on the back of the lens, and it all looked fine actually. I even tried to use some, as one can see here, some isopropyl alcohol, and I cleaned the contacts here on the back, but nothing helped really. So what could be the actual issue? Well, so I took off the adapter here, and I would think, well, it looks actually pretty good, and I just check all screws here, and it actually looks fine here on the front. Also, this one is also good. And I look on the back, and then I discovered that some screws were loose, actually all of them. And I think, okay. So I took a look on the camera itself, and hopefully you can see what's happened here. You should be able to see there's a mark, not the screw, but beside it there was a mark. And if we look over here, if we look at this screw here, it actually, this mount on the camera sits tight, no problem in there. So you can see here, there is a mark after a screw head. And there was also something up here, which hopefully you can see here. And it's simply because the screws on the back of the mount was very loose and has sitting and what do you say, scratch against the mount here. And you can also see on the screw heads here, especially this one, that it has rubbed against something. and also this one and this one too, more or less, some of them. And I was thinking, what if the problem would be on the contacts here? Could be, because if the mount here is loose, it could, by accident, it could affect the connection to the actual contact bridge here. Well, it was actually part of the problem. So, and I think, let's, I was closer into it and take a look at the contact here and here. And then I found out, there must be a loose connection somewhere, or at least a bad connection. So I get my brush. This is actually a fiber brush, glass fiber brush, that can be extremely, and it was also in this case, because I have cleaned them now, because I would think I'll just make a video of how you could actually fix this problem. It could be that, could be also be other things, of course. But like this, I try to give all the contacts here a good brush, and when you do it outside and use gloves, because all the small fiber here will stick into your skin, and it will actually itching a lot. So so I get outside and clean all the contacts here, so they look nice and shiny gold. And I also do it here on the front, which they also look really bad. I mean, there was some scratch on the plastic and so, and the contact itself didn't look that good. So I also gave those a good scratch outside, and then blow all the old, I mean the fibers that actually comes into here, and also on the back, and with some compressed air, just blow it out, so everything looks as it should. And I also did it to the lens, the contact bridge here. I did the same, and by luck, and especially after I have tightened the screws, because they were not at all tight. But to fix the real problem, to not having the screws loosen again, well, I could use super glue, but then you will not be able to take it apart anymore. So that's not the way to do it. So we'll just take out one screw, and they're actually, in my opinion, they're way too short. The thickness and the quality of the screws is of course good, but the length, in my opinion, should be at least a quarter longer to have a better grip into the actual aluminium housing in here. The outside here is plastic, but the inner core is made of aluminium. So it should be all fine. So by fixing this, we will use some Loctite 222 thread lock. It costs a bit, but the bulb will last years, many years actually, like this. So it's the purple one. You see here. I would just use a few drops. I mean, just one tiny drop is enough. So, and you just do it on side of it, just a little drop. That's more than enough. I mean, it is enough. And then you, with a JIS screwdriver, that's very important. If you do use a Phillips screwdriver, you will probably, I mean, most 99.9%, you will damage the screw head. And then you have another problem. So I use a 2.5 millimeter JIS, which stands for Japan Industry Standard. And it should be that. This is a brand called Moody Tools, but you can also use a brand called Vessel, which is also a good quality. But on the other hand, this one has a better grip onto the screw. So you will just tighten it good. And all the screws will get a little drop of this stuff, which will, you can still be able to take it apart, even if you tighten the screws as much as you can. So, and I mean, you can use the 243, which is also, but it's a more, yeah, it gets the screws a much more stronger glue, kind of, but still you can heat it up, not very much, but you can soften the screws, the thread lock actually, with the soldering iron, which will make it soften the thread lock. Or you could use some actually isopropyl alcohol to soften the screws, the thread, and then it will be all good. So now that was actually the problem by this FTZ adapter, and now I can much better put it on here, and it will say go into click much better. Before that, it has a little, it was not, it was too loose simply. So you can just put it on here, turn on the camera, and it will focus on everything, and it's absolutely sure how it does it. Even if I point it upwards, it will still do what it should. Of course, it cannot. If it's too close, it cannot find its focus. So, but before that, it couldn't do anything. So I tried to, I mean, move the lens in the adapter, a camera, but nothing has changed. But now it focuses as it should. No matter how all the settings here are, or the camera settings are, it is spot on every time. So that was just a little help if you have problems with the actual FTZ adapter. It could be the adapter that has the problem, and not the lens or the camera. So check that first. It's quite a cheap way to do it. You can buy the Loctite 243 in a small bottle, and it will last long time. And of course, you could also use some isopropyl alcohol directly on the, I mean, at least try to clean the contacts here on the lens, or the actual contacts in here, and of course also on the back. It works in this case. Remember, there could be other issues, but it just came back to work with without any problem. We can also do another thing just to see if things has changed or not, by setting on on M. Yeah, it doesn't really change anything. It will just focus no matter how I actually do with the camera. So that's really good. So hope you can use the info, and don't forget to buy a fiberglass brush. You can exchange the brush head itself very easy, and it doesn't cost much. So I think it's called a contact cleaner brush or fiberglass brush. It doesn't cost much, but it will solve actually many problems with bad contacts, not only in lenses, but it could also be, I mean, if you have a battery that has bad contacts down into the camera or so, it could be the case, like in many other contacts problems. So hope you can use the info in this short video. See you sooner. Bye bye.